Okay, so the only two that are missing here is like Glitchtrap and Into the Pit Spring Bonnie. I'm working on Glitchtrap right now. And there's another Bonnie I'm working on, I'm pretty sure. I don't really remember. No, there's not. Okay. I'm going to have to touch up Vanny from Security Breach a little bit. But yeah, other than that, this is all my Bonnie minifigures. Bunny minifigures from Five Nights at Freddy's. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with this Mass Fnaf Showcase Part 2 is Bonnie. This is my oldest Bonnie in my collection so far. Made back in 2015. Simple colors, just use purple, petunia purple, lavender, and white, red, and black. Sculpted the head, the arms, the torso, and the legs. Not really too proud of the torso or the head. I think I did a little bit better with version 2. But yeah, it's a pretty simple figure. There's no damage on him or anything. I did end into the teeth. And he looks kind of he's looking too far up in my opinion. But the older version, it looked a lot better, which is slightly updated from the older version. I mean, I should probably do this with the ears for my newer figures, because like these ears do look really good. Just saying. But other than that, that's it for Bonnie. Let's move on to... Oh, wait. I have a few more Bonnies. Alright, for Bonnie version 2, we have his FNAF 1 trailer looking eyes, I guess you could say. But yeah, I sculpted his torso, his arms, his legs. Painted on his hands. I sculpted his ears, which was a tedious process, but I got it done. His muzzle does look a little squished, but I'm gonna fix that up later, or just keep it how it is. Red bow tie, gloss red for the black outlines, gloss black for the outlines of the the endoskeleton sockets, and red for the pupils to represent the evil animatronic inside. Paint on white for teeth. Red bow tie again. It's basically this, just slimmer. In my opinion, it's just basically this, just slimmer and a better head sculpt. So let's move on to the Decent Customs one. Next off, we have a Decent Customs collab Bonnie. He will be in the thumbnail. So, I did not sculpt any of this. All I did was, paint it. I'm gonna say I didn't do a half bad job, honestly. Most of my paint jobs are pretty bad and rushed. But yeah, decent sculpted on the torso, the arms, and the legs. I painted all of it in petunia purple, and not petunia purple, but also for his stomach and muzzle and inner ears. Purple iris for his body and stuff. Iris purple, something like that. Painted flag red or red apple for the eyes. Black for the nose. I did give him a wash for his teeth. I did that with Freddy too, but this one I kept dirty instead of, keeping it like white and stuff. Try to give these animatronics a more dirty look, because they are pretty dirty in the game. But on this figure there's a lot of, brush strokes, and he does have a red bow tie. Right. Sorry about the bad lighting too. Alright, you're probably gonna be like, hey, where's Toy Bonnie? I have not made Toy Bonnie yet, sorry. So basically, starting off with Withered Bonnie, I painted on. I cut off half an arm. I cut off half an arm and glued it in because it was a little bit too short. Sculpted on his legs, his torso, his buttons, his bow tie, his head, which I really like. Pin on all the details onto it. Indented some of the legs. I sanded down the foot. And I engraved in it, so like it has, more animatronic texture to it. Don't know how to describe it, but like basically like that, more animatronic texture. Like endoskeleton texture. His arm is not sculpted, it's painted on. Oh yeah, and I have Plushtrap in the works too. I should have mentioned that. I'm giving him a few updates before I showcase him again. So this is every Bonnie so far, except for a few. And I did, give him, the damage around his face, because, his face was ripped off from his FNAF 2 variant before he went to a FNAF 1 variant. It's confusing. But yeah, he has his red eyes, black outer rims and the white teeth. Endoskeleton is painted on. Silver foot. And that's basically it. Let's move on to the next one. Probably going to go by pretty fast, but this is a completely black figure, which I do need to repaint. I might keep him like this, I don't know yet. A completely black figure, just average Lego black arms. And I painted him some white for his eyes and stuff. Mod Podge him so the paint doesn't chip as badly. And yeah. Painted on his teeth because he originally had 2 buck teeth, and I decided to paint on the 4 teeth. Yeah, that's basically it for Shadow Bonnie. Let's move on to another. Next off here we have his prop Bonnie. Nothing much actually. It's just like my original plan for, like not my original plan for this guy, but like version 2 of this guy, just modded to make it look like a prop. Oh no, I haven't explained this yet. So I used toothpicks for the arms, and I used a Lego pole piece for the leg. And I used a little cylinder piece to make it, like the stand, so it could stand on a stud. I think this is glued, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, it's glued. And I used purple iris for his base coats, and petunia purple for the muzzle and the stomach. Sorry, I'm not good at explaining stuff. White for the teeth, black for the nose, red for a bow tie. Basically, that's all there is, honestly. I did hot glue some parts in because I was running out of super glue, or B, the glue wasn't working too well, but the body is sanded. So it can hold the paint. Yeah, let's move on to the next one. Nightmare Bonnie. This one still holds up to this day. So basically, Nightmare Bonnie here, painted him a Ward Blue from Apple Barrel. All these paints I use is from Apple Barrel. Mostly. Give him the gunmetal hand from Folk Art. Painted on all his black cuts in him and stuff. Use Cool Blue for his, body and his muzzle and his inner ears. Painted on the whiskers. Sculpted on his shoulder pads. These would be movable, but the torso was starting to break, so I had to glue it in. His foot is in gunmetal gray. His other foot's slightly chipping, but it does have his cuts in there and stuff, and his outer rim for his foot. All the cuts and stuff are painted on, and I did, paint on the indentations for his toes. Nothing much on the back. I think this is probably one of my best Bonnie figures, in my opinion. Other than one, which you'll see at the end. Yeah, it's one of my favorite Bonnie figures. It's probably like the second or first best, in my opinion. If you don't want to count the Bonnie that me and Decent collabed on, this is the best Bonnie I made. Well, wait, no, it's one of the best Bonnies I made. I have 2 favorites, and I'll get to that one right now. After Jacko Bonnie. Before we get into my favorites, here's Jacko Bonnie. Jack-O Bonnie. So he is painted in orange and red. Then I mixed an orange and red color to give him his color. Dark orange color. He's not my favorite. I think the head sculpt ruins this figure, honestly. Gave him gold instead of silver. Red bow tie. Decently the same amount of cuts as, Nightmare Bonnie. Nothing much on the back. This is in a point of time where I got really lazy with my customs. Golden indentations on the right arm and left arm. Cracks and stuff painted on. Toe indentation actually indented in. Yeah, that's it for Jacko Bonnie. Probably the worst figure from this showcase. Let's move on to the next one. I reviewed Twisted Bonnie. Here is Bonnet. Nothing much, it's just a small sculpted. This was sculpted from hand, and then I built it up. I did be lazy with the ears and the eyes because that's really hard to paint. But other than that, I really do like this figure. Honestly, I sculpted and painted with green stuff in Procreate. Sculpted the button, the bow tie, the lower jaw, then the upper jaw. I think the muzzle was last, but yeah. Pretty good figure. Just paint's not too well on it. But yeah, let's move on to Twisted Bonnie. For Twisted Bonnie here, what I did was I sculpted on spikes and sculpted on his torso and did like the melting texture that he has. I sculpted on legs, his torso, which was a painful process, but I did it. His legs has all the his legs have painted indentations. I don't know what painted cuts on it. His endoskeleton is not 3D; it's painted on. His head is what am I supposed to say? An average Lego head, which I heavily sculpted on. I sculpted the teeth first, the under teeth first. Then I sculpted on the overbite. Then I sculpted on the bunny head with the whiskers and stuff. Yeah, it's a really detailed figure. I sculpted on the spikes too, because I think those were one of the last parts I did. And yeah, paint on the red eyes, bonnet blue for the inner ears and all that stuff, and bright blue for the everything else. Let's move on to the next one. So now we have Rockstar Bonnie. As you can see here, I sculpted on his head, his arms, and part of his legs. I sculpted on the kneecaps. Not kneecaps, but knee pads for the figure. And I also sculpted on the bow tie, painted that Flamico red to give him that more, Rockstar feel. Instead of bright red for some reason. Painted his eyes in green. I'm probably going to repaint his eyes because it doesn't fit too well. I mean, yeah, it looks good with the, size of everything, but it doesn't look good in general. His buck teeth are a little bit too big. In his ear, I think one of them broke before, so I had to glue it. Legs are just average blue legs with all the details painted on. Sculpted torso with the, these painted on, the stars. Sorry, I'm not good at explaining stuff. Here's the back, nothing on the back. Here is the cheeks are just painted in red, honestly, and sculpted on. Obviously, vice versa. And yeah, let's move on to the final Bonnies. Then I'll get into Springtraps and Vannies. Here's Final Nights 2 Bonnie. It is basically, all it is just a torso and legs just cut in pieces. And, I used some weathering for, everything else. Sculpted the arm, the torso, which I need to resculpt. And a not knee pads, but inside the legs. This was originally for a monster rat. That's why you see those indents in there. Hand is rusted. This one's really hard to hold. He is permanently glued in this position where he's like crawling, basically. And yeah, let's move on to the next one. Here's the next Bonnie, Chocolate Bonnie. I already reviewed this one, so I'm not going to get too much into detail. I'm just going to give you a few 360s, and I'm going to, link it. I'm going to put a link in the description below where you can find the showcase to this guy. So yeah, I don't know if it's the best, but like it's decent. I do like this figure a lot. I just don't like how it's Fnaf AR. But other than that, let's move on to Easter. Here's Easter Bonnie, in my opinion. Here's Easter Bonnie, here, in my opinion. I think this is probably the worst Bonnie I've ever made. Head does not look good. The muzzle is severely squished and rushed. Ears are way too small. Doesn't even have his cheekbones. But I mean, the torso's okay. Same with the legs, but I think my newer one is better that I use fake Lego for. And his torso is pretty mediocre. So yeah. And it does have a elbow tie. That's the only saving feature it has. The original Bonnies, we have Blackheart Bonnie. Nothing much. I already did a shorts video on this. I think I might just do that with all my customs. Painted it completely black. And painted on his details with gloss black. See, like his nose, his bow tie, his outlines and stuff. His heart is in dark red, and his eyes are in a dark red too. I painted dark black inside the ears, and all that, all the cuts inside, and yeah, let's move on to the next one. Alright, so here is, Sister Maritoy Bonnie. Nothing much. Completely red, light red outlines, and Sister Mare painted on. It's really nothing much, just a red rabbit with, red highlights and stuff and black torso. Everything is sculpted, but this is from my older, Toy Bonnie. That's why you don't see a, Toy Bonnie in this showcase. I'm not gonna lie, this does look a lot better than my original Toy Bonnie. So yeah, let's move on to, Rock Bonnie, Boulder Toy Bonnie. Alright, so here's Boulder Toy Bonnie. I already made a showcase on him, so I'm not gonna go into detail. Here's a few 360s. Excuse me. In here, I'm gonna get the key details out of the way. I did cut out his ear, scribbled on his torso and his arms and legs. So here's Shadow Spring Bonnie. Nothing much, honestly. It's just like a black rabbit with white teeth. Everything is sculpted by me. That's all I need to say. Let's move on to the next one. Spring Bonnie, he was my first video, so I'm probably going to go decently into detail, but not too much. All that's new on him is spring green pupils, and over that, I made him posed where he has like his knife behind his back, and he has, what's it called? Sculpted arms. That's basically all that's new on him. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so here's Dark Springtrap. Probably my most favorite figure that got cold stains. I don't know what this is, honestly. Feels really cold, so I'm guessing that's what it is. Yeah, here's all the details. Only thing, I haven't updated this, so I use Christmas green for the inner ears, Marsh green for the whole body, black and gray for the feet, black hands, black for the indentations, everything's indented. Adventure Plushtrap, probably the oldest Springtrap in this collection. Nothing much. It's just a micro figure, sculpted and painted on. Basically, that's all. Let's move on to the next one. Final actual Springtrap before we move on to the skins and stuff is Ignited Springtrap. He's from Fnaf AR, not Fnaf AR, Fnaf Special. No. The Joy of Creation Reborn. I'm a Halloween edition. Glued on, not glued on, but I glued a little peg in here, Give him a robot arm, sculpted his torso, his leg, his head, not the right arm for some reason. Painted all of this, and yeah, basically it. Springtrap. Here is a quick few 360s. I'll put a link in the description below where I showcased them. Springtrap, one of the coolest FNAF AR Springtraps in my opinion, along with Toxic. Things just need to get weirder with a clown Springtrap, but he's made. But other than that, he's basically like all the other Springtraps, except he has a bigger nose. And no indentation. But yeah, I have a full showcase on this guy. He was like posted a month ago. I'll link him in the description below. Two scrap chips you guys have seen. I'll link it down in the description below, but it's for the scrap showcase. Nothing much, at least on this one. But this one I did a lot of work, and sadly his paint's chipping. But yeah, really amazing figure. I really do love this one. I really wish I could have it displayed, but I don't know. I can't really decide. But yeah, everything was sculpted by me, glued by me, and painted by me. Fan art Vanny, and this is the authentic Vanny. So basically, I curved her torso, painted on the glitch trap stars, gave her red hands, tank top stuff, painted on her belly button, gave her black pants with the flesh around it, shorts. Back is pretty ugly, not gonna lie. Her Vanny head from Help Wanted, that's why I put on here. So I'm on to the final one from Security Breach. I'm only going to do one 360 for this because this one has been shown in detail. A few 360s for this. Sorry, has been shown in detail. I'll go back into detail in it once I get the Security Breach figures done, but yeah. Here's Vanny.